Tattoos. In many countries, they're beautiful works of art, a powerful way to express who you are. But here in Japan, things can be a little different. Having tattoos can still raise a few eyebrows, or in some cases, even close doors that would otherwise be open. So if you're planning a trip to Japan and you've got some ink, you're probably wondering what to expect. Today, we're diving deep into what it really means to be a tattooed foreigner in Japan. We'll uncover what's allowed, what's not, and how the country's views are slowly but surely beginning to change. Stick around, because this is the ultimate guide you'll need. To truly understand Japan's complex relationship with tattoos, we have to take a step back in time. It's a history that's as intricate and detailed as the tattoos themselves. In ancient Japan, tattoos, or irizumi, weren't always taboo. They held various meanings, from spiritual protection for fishermen and firefighters to status symbols among the indigenous Ainu people. But everything changed during the Edo period. This is when tattoos became strongly and almost exclusively associated with the yakuza, Japan's infamous organized crime syndicates. They used elaborate, full-body tattoos as a mark of loyalty and a symbol of their outlaw status. It was a way of showing they had permanently cast themselves out of conventional society. Even though that was centuries ago, the shadow of that association still lingers. For many older Japanese people, seeing a tattoo automatically brings to mind images of rebellion, crime, and the underworld. That's why certain public places still have rules restricting entry for people with visible tattoos. It's crucial to understand that this isn't usually born from hostility towards foreigners. It's a reaction rooted in long-standing cultural norms and a desire to maintain a peaceful, comfortable environment for all patrons. So, let's get practical. Where might you actually run into issues as a tattooed visitor or resident in Japan? Let's break down the most common spots. First and foremost, public baths, known as onsen, hot springs, and sento. This is where the no tattoos rule is most famous and most strictly enforced. Many traditional hot springs still have a blanket ban on all tattoos, regardless of their size or design. The good news? The tide is turning. An increasing number of establishments are becoming more lenient. Some will allow you to enter if you can cover your tattoos with waterproof patches or stickers. Others have proudly declared themselves tattoo-friendly to attract more visitors, especially tourists. A little research beforehand can save you a lot of disappointment. Next up are swimming pools, gyms, and beaches. Similar to onsen, some sports facilities and public pools have rules against visible tattoos. You might be asked to wear a rash guard or use cover-up tape. On public beaches, especially in family-oriented areas, you might find lifeguards politely asking you to cover up your ink. It's less common than at an onsen, but it's still a possibility to be aware of. Finally, let's talk about traditional Japanese inns, or ryokan. While it's quite rare, some high-end, very traditional ryokans might have a preference for guests without tattoos, especially if they have shared bathing facilities. It's always a good idea to check the rules on their website before you book. If you're unsure, sending a polite email to ask about their policy is a great way to show respect and avoid any awkward situations upon arrival. Now, for the question that's probably on your mind, how are tattooed foreigners actually treated by everyday Japanese people? Here's the honest truth. In your day-to-day interactions, it's highly unlikely that you'll face any negative treatment. Most Japanese people, especially in major cities, are well aware that tattoos are common and culturally significant in other parts of the world. They understand that your ink is more likely a symbol of art, a cherished memory, or a part of your identity, rather than a sign of a criminal affiliation. If you're walking around big cosmopolitan hubs like Tokyo, Osaka, or Kyoto, chances are no one will even give your tattoos a second glance. Life will go on as normal. However, if you venture out into smaller towns or more rural, remote regions, you might notice a different reaction. It's not hostility, but more likely a gentle curiosity. You might get a few longer than usual stares or notice people keeping a polite distance. Remember, many people in these areas are simply unaccustomed to seeing tattoos, especially large or highly visible ones. So, if you do get some looks, try to see it as curiosity rather than judgment. A friendly smile can go a long way in bridging any perceived cultural gap. Expect questions, not confrontations. And now for the really good news. Things are definitely changing. The perception of tattoos in Japan is undergoing a significant transformation, driven by a new generation and increasing global influence. Younger Japanese people in particular often view tattoos as a form of fashion and self-expression, much like in the West. They're influenced by international and Japanese celebrities, models, musicians, and social media influencers who proudly display their ink online. This exposure is slowly chipping away at the old stigma, reframing tattoos as cool and artistic rather than rebellious or dangerous. The tourism industry is also playing a huge role in this shift. With Japan welcoming millions of international visitors, businesses are realizing that strict no-tattoo policies are simply bad for business. You can now easily find tattoo-friendly, onsen maps and websites online. Major cities like Tokyo and Osaka host massive tattoo conventions that attract renowned artists and enthusiasts from all over the globe, celebrating the artistry of irizumi and modern tattooing alike. Step by step, tattoo by tattoo, the culture is becoming more accepting. It's a slow process, but the progress is undeniable. The distinction is becoming clearer. There's a world of difference between a foreigner's sleeve of artwork and the traditional markings associated with the yakuza. So, to wrap it all up, here are some practical, must-know tips to ensure your trip to Japan is as smooth and enjoyable as possible, tattoos and all. First, always check before you go. If you have your heart set on visiting a specific onsen, gym, or public pool, take a few minutes to look up their tattoo policy online. Most places with websites will state their rules clearly. A little bit of planning goes a long way. Second, come prepared with cover-up options. Waterproof tattoo cover stickers are widely available in Japanese drugstores like Don Quixote or Matsumoto Kiyoshi. They work great for smaller tattoos. For larger pieces, a long-sleeved rash guard for swimming or light clothing for everyday wear can be an easy and respectful solution. Third, and most importantly, always be respectful. If a staff member politely asks you to cover up, please don't take it personally or get into an argument. Understand that they are simply following the rules of their establishment. A graceful and understanding response will be appreciated and reflects well on all travelers. Remember, it's a cultural difference, not a personal attack. And finally, actively seek out tattoo-friendly spots. There are fantastic online resources like Tattoo Friendly or Tattoo Spot that maintain lists, and maps of businesses across Japan that openly welcome tattooed guests. Supporting these places helps encourage more businesses to follow suit. So, can you visit, live in, and love Japan with tattoos? The answer is a resounding yes. Absolutely. The key is to travel with an awareness of the local culture and a willingness to show respect for its customs. It will make your entire experience smoother, richer, and far more rewarding. In today's Japan, tattoos are still walking a fine line between a complex tradition and an evolving modernity. But for travelers who approach this beautiful country with an open mind and a kind heart, they are no barrier at all to discovering everything incredible it has to offer. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into life in Japan. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Would you travel to Japan with visible tattoos? Let me know your thoughts. See you in the next one.